Group says the nativity scene in its current form is unconstitutional.
Because they say it amounts to government-sponsored religion.
Hi, Shell Point. I'm Laura Slack, Director of Resident Life, and today I'm here with two gentlemen, J. Kelly Wright from the Estuary and Wayne Swanson from Turban, and they are both doing an Academy session called Religious Symbols and the First Amendment: When is a symbol on public property an unconstitutional establishment of religion? So we're going to start with you, Wayne, and tell us what part of this Academy session you're going to talk about.
First, just let me say that Jay and I have done about 4 or 5 of these classes on constitutional law. This is our first venture into the area of separation of church and state. And we've talked about it for quite a while over the years. It's a complex and challenging area of the court to deal with. And so we decided finally that we'll make a go of it. And so the first class here is basically just one small slice of the First Amendment. The First Amendment is probably the basic democratic creed. In that amendment, the first part of the First Amendment deals with separation of church and state. So the Founding Fathers thought that this was pretty important. And as we have, from a historical perspective, it has proven to be very important, also very challenging to the justices and to us who have to live with that, and also to the whole area of where church and state do conflict. It presents challenging questions, particularly today in American politics. I'm doing a sort of a case study. I wrote a book on the nativity scene in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, where I lived. When I was teaching at Connecticut College, I needed a class at the last part of the semester, and so I decided to use that particular case as a way to introduce the students to the topic. The students basically surprised me in terms of level of interest. Somebody told me you should write a book about it, and I did. The issue basically, does the city have the constitutional right to display the nativity scene in its Christmas holiday display? Now that might seem like to be a fairly easy question for a lot of people to decide. It isn't. When the court ruled, they ruled 5-4 in one way. I'm not even going to tell you which way they ruled. You'll have to come to the class to figure that out. Figure out. But it's a very interesting case, and Jay is going to basically move in a slightly different direction, and I hope that my presentation and his will complement each other and generate a lot of questions.
Well, I hope so. Well, Jay, what are you going to talk about?
I think they will, because the case that Wayne has written about is really one of the landmark cases in when it comes to the way the Supreme Court decided how to interpret the Constitution. And I'm going to pick up the story of things that happened after that case. The cases Wayne is at least starting with involved the nativity scene. I'm going to deal with some cases involving where the Ten Commandments can be on public property. And then I'll finish up with a case that the Supreme Court just decided this past summer, which involved a 30-foot cross in Prince George's County, Maryland, which is a suburb of Washington. Lower courts ordered that it be torn down, and well, we'll see what happens. These cases are, of course, all about what the government can do. Shell Point has a nativity scene on the island. Shell Point isn't the government. Not yet, anyway. So the First Amendment doesn't address that. But what can be done on public property, property that the taxpayers have to pay for, and that's what generates the controversy in these cases.
And that's the substance of this Academy session. So if you are interested in finding out the answer to these cases, join Wayne and Jay Kelly on Wednesday, November 13th, 10 o'clock in the Grand Cypress Room. Sign-ups are required. This is going to be a full class, so make sure you sign up. And again, it's Wednesday, November 13th at 10 o'clock. See you there.